Sadly, I've done, I think, 3 different versions of this promo. One for Thanksgiving night, then one over the weekend for a Sunday game. And now it's Tuesday, and we're hoping it gets played. Ravens and Steelers on Sunday Night Football. RG3 and like Nick Boyle and Gus Edwards and
Des Bryant.
Yep. And I'm, missing some names, but Mark Andrews and Matt Judon became the latest, along with Willie Snead. I mean, my gosh. All, again, reportedly because the strength and conditioning coach was working these guys out without a mask. And again, we don't know. We don't know specifically why. Ravens-Steelers, though, being set for Tuesday night football, originally Thursday night on Thanksgiving night, and then moved to Sunday afternoon. Now we're 24 hours away from Ravens and Steelers being played. We're back here on our radio network. And the reason why the Ravens and Steelers, and they want them to play this game in the worst way, is to create a Week 18 for this one game and thus create that backstop for maybe others. If there's a one cancellation in Week 14 and one in Week 15 and one in Week 16, just throw it into the Week 18 bin. Mike Florio just hung up with us. His point was the issue is what if the Week 18 bin contains 2 canceled games involving the same team? Well, that's an issue. And now you got to play triage as to which game is considered more important than the other. And when you're talking about tie breaks and conference records and common opponents, if you throw a common opponent out the door, what does that mean for somebody else's seeding? I mean, what a nightmare that is in terms of seeding. And then there's this. Let's just say Ravens-Steelers, Chris, gets pushed to Week 18. Okay?
Okay.
So it's possible that the Steelers and Ravens are playing in Week 18 while the wild card teams that were supposed to be playing in that Week 18 are sitting at home on a bye. And the Steelers are 15-0 going into this game, all right, and are playing for the right to have a bye the next week. Because remember, the 1 seed gets a bye.
Correct.
Okay. So 1 seed gets the bye, and the Steelers would be maybe that 1 seed. So they got to play in Week 18. Everybody else who's supposed to be playing in Week 18 sits at home and gets the bye that's supposedly only supposed to go to the 1 seed. Let's say the Steelers lose that and the 1 seed goes to the Chiefs. They're now sitting at home for 2 straight weeks, while the Steelers are right back at it because they didn't win that game against the Ravens. Meanwhile, the entire NFC is chilling and waiting for their playoffs to start. So the 1 seed, let's say the Saints, they get 2 weeks off and everybody else gets 1 week off too. That throws off everything, especially if the accordion is the week off that's supposed to happen between the championship games and the Super Bowl. And what if that week players pop and suddenly you've got to push the Super Bowl back? That's why they play games when they can play them. That's why that game got played between Green Bay and San Francisco when everyone's like, hey, San Francisco, we're totally shorthanded. Why are you forcing it? Because you got to go when the medicine and the medical evaluations say go. And in terms of everybody out there, some fans who are like, the NFL, it's totally willy-nilly and when to go and when not. They're doing the best contact tracing. Do you think the NFL are experts in public health and epidemiology? I mean, they're hiring the right people. I mean, Dr. Sills is doing the best he can do here. And the contact tracing that so many fans are critical about, I bet a good part of them, sorry to say, would be absolutely livid if they were forced to have that contact tracing placed on them in their professional lives for liberty issues and all that business. So they're doing our best, and we'll see what happens. But that's the reason why they're kind of pulling their punches, if you will, on that Tuesday night game. They don't want to create Week 18 if they don't have to. And if the Ravens are completely shorthanded going against the Steelers tomorrow night, and it might not look good, and it might look as ugly as Saints and Broncos, unfortunately, those are some of the eggs to make this omelet this year that need to be broken. And I don't want to hear about asterisks anymore about championships. Could you imagine if the Steelers go undefeated with all of this, where their bye week goes from week whatever it was to week 4, and then they play all these games in a row, but then they get a bye week because a week 18's been forced where they have to play that game because they don't know where they're going to be seated. The same thing with the 49ers. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.